Hi, I'm Mark Humphrys and continuing this series of videos about Israel, and I want to look at the opposition to the establishment of the State of Israel. So the State of Israel was defined in 1947 and then became a reality in 1948. The area defined for the State of Israel in 1947 was majority Jewish. Now this may surprise some people who, using various statistics, show how Jews were a relatively small minority in the former Ottoman Empire. But the entirety of the former Ottoman Empire was not being used to set up the State of Israel. The area defined in the 1947 plan was 540,000 population Jewish and 400,000 population Arab. So the people living in that area, who had all arrived not by war, not by conquest, but all voluntarily and peacefully, and many of them, of course, had roots in the area going back centuries or thousands of years. And some were more recent arrivals, but that's pretty normal everywhere. And some of the Arabs were recent arrivals as the area became more dynamic with the growth of the Zionist movement and the growth of the Jewish population. So we have an area undergoing dynamic change. It's majority Jewish. How could any reasonable person oppose that area being allowed to set up its own state? How could any reasonable person oppose a state being set up in that area? So it's my contention that, in fact, what the Arabs did was entirely the wrong thing. What they should have done was say, it is absolutely wonderful that this state is being set up in this area. It'll be a fantastic success, and we really ought to move to try and live there if we can. And what they should not have done was to immediately attack it, recruit neighbouring governments in order to help them attack it and destroy it, in order to achieve what and why? Why would anyone oppose such a state? The Arabs living in such a state were not going to be oppressed. Quite likely they were going to become a lot richer by living in such a state. They were quite likely going to become freer than they ever were living in the Ottoman Empire. There were no legitimate grounds on which to attack it or attempt to destroy it. And in order to do what? In order to set up what? All the alternatives for systems of government for that area were just worse. So why did Arabs and all the neighbouring governments join in an incredibly hostile war of aggression to try to destroy the infant country of Israel? What was it about Israel that drove them crazy, essentially? And to me, the answer lies in their minds, in their attitudes, and in their bad and bigoted, essentially, attitudes towards a non-Muslim minority in the former Ottoman Empire setting up its own state, and even more unforgivably, a state where some Muslims would be living as a minority population. So it's my contention, and the existence of Israel has shown this over the years, that those minorities, those non-Jewish minorities living in Israel, are the lucky ones. And they generally have a very good life, a very good quality of living, and they live in a free society. So in the next video, we'll talk more about the development of the Israeli-Arab conflict, which later got called the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and why essentially the conflict should end tomorrow, and the Palestinian side should compromise and should try and look on the good things about Israel, which they can benefit from as Israel's neighbours. All of Israel's neighbours could benefit, and why they all took a terrible and tragic wrong turn in 1948. So see you in the next video.